everyone, and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And it's day 2 of the Taiwan International Balloon Festival. Well, day 2 of our article about the Balloon Festival. It actually goes on for a few months, but we're talking about it right now. Yesterday, Allison and Brandon were our two friends in the dialogue, and they had just gotten there to watch them blow up the balloons, get the balloons ready to fly, but they haven't actually left the ground yet. But I heard a rumor that you have left the ground and in a balloon. Is that true?
Yes.
That's so cool.
So I arrived the evening.
Okay, was this at the Taidong Balloon Festival? Oh, wow, okay.
So it's in Luye, right?
Yeah.
So I took a plane down there. It's about 50 minutes.
Okay.
And then I landed and stayed in this very nice little hostel run by locals because I wanted to see them set up the balloons in the morning.
So it's a good idea to go the night before.
It is.
Because they start very early in the morning.
5 a.m.
5 a.m.
I was in this hostel right beside the mountain area.
Oh, cool.
And the sun comes in and it's so nice. And you get up and it's still very cold air in the morning.
Yeah, 5 a.m.
So you come down to this mountain and you're on top of it and there's a lot of people starting to sit there waiting.
Okay.
So they're waiting to set up all these beautiful balloons, and you can see there are people from everywhere in the world because these balloons and the people who fly them, the pilots, they come from everywhere.
Oh, cool.
So they're especially invited to Taiwan to work here for these 2 months. So you get to meet a lot of very nice people, cool people. You see them set up, and then finally around like 7 something, 8 o'clock, they're starting to go up, and it's like so awesome. The whole experience is very exciting but also relaxing.
Very nice. So how many balloons were there in the end once they were all flying?
I would say there were about like 30 something balloons.
But still, they're so big, having 30 balloons above you must seem
so
like they're just covering the sky. Amazing. So there you go. You can probably see some pictures of it very easily. And we're going to be back. Maybe today is Allison and Brandon's lucky day to fly in a balloon. Allison and Brandon are in a hot air balloon.
Aren't you clever? How did you get us tickets for a tethered balloon ride?
I booked them online. The fee was a little higher, but I didn't want to risk not getting any tickets.
That was very smart of you. Thank you.
All right, Taiwan International Balloon Festival Part 2. Our dialogue picks up with the same characters from yesterday, and yay, they are flying. Allison and Brandon are in a hot air balloon. There you go. They are in the balloon. We would probably say they are on an airplane, but because it's a balloon and there's a basket, you are in the basket. So that would be correct. If you said Allison and Brandon are on a balloon,
it's like on top of
I
the
would
balloon?
be worried because that means they're doing like a circus trick. They're standing on top of the round. No. You want to be in the balloon, not on the balloon. All right, let's get into it with Allison.
Allison says, "Aren't you clever? How did you get us tickets for a tethered balloon ride?" Okay, so if it's a tethered balloon ride, we're saying that the balloon is attached to the ground and you're not flying free. Now, this is going to be a lot cheaper than if you're just flying free because that would be a long trip. Usually these tethered balloon trips are like 15-20 minutes and you can just go up and down, and it's just an experience. But then that other one, it's really like a whole afternoon or a big event. So Allison thinks that Brandon is very clever.
Yeah, aren't you clever, she said. That's kind of like, aren't you smart, or what a special thing you did. If someone is clever, it's kind of like saying they're intelligent, they're smart, they have a good brain, it works well, it works quickly. they make good decisions without too much trouble. So if you're clever, good for you. That means your brain is working as well as it can. All right, so aren't you clever? Means you did a good job and maybe it was a little bit tricky, a little bit difficult, but you did it. Aren't you clever? Well done, you. And Brandon, he is clever, but apparently it wasn't that hard. He just had to be prepared. He says, I booked them online, maybe even a few weeks or a few months ago.
Yeah.
So he just took action at the right time and it wasn't too hard. I booked them online, so using the internet. The fee was a little higher, but I didn't want to risk not getting any tickets. So if you make a reservation, if you sort of pick one before the balloon festival, you might pay a little bit more, but you will for sure get in a balloon. I guess if you wait to go down there, you might save a bit of money, but you might be standing in line for a long time. But there would be a lower fee.
Okay, so the fee is the amount of money that you have to pay for an activity or an experience. Now, this isn't when you go shopping. It's not a fee. A fee is when you go to pay for something like a hot air balloon ride, or a fee when you go on the highway. These are other expenses that are not for getting a product. This is for an experience or for a trip or something like that. The total amount of money it costs is the fee. So we know that if you book online, it guarantees that you'll have a spot, but it might just be a bit more expensive. But I would probably go for that option too.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to risk missing out on a balloon ride. To risk something, here we're using it as a verb. It basically means you're taking a chance. You're doing something that could work,
be dangerous,
but it could also not work. You could succeed or you could fail. If you like to gamble, if you like to bet on sports games, you are risking your money. You could win money or you could lose money. People like to do that maybe for entertainment. If you're wanting to take a really special holiday and you don't have a lot of time, maybe plan early, because if you wait, you risk missing out on your holiday. You risk not finding tickets or not being able to get a hotel. You have this situation that could be bad, where you could face a lack of success, where things don't work. And of course, you should never ride a motorcycle without a helmet on. If you do, you are risking your life, your safety, if you have an accident and fall off. So risking is putting things in a situation where they could go wrong. But it didn't this time. It worked out very well. And so Allison says,
yeah, that was very smart of you. Thank you.
He is very clever.
We always want to plan ahead of time, so Brandon did a great job.
There you go. He won't be disappointed if you do that. That's a good point. All right, guys, let's take a break and then we'll be back.
You're welcome. Hey, we're starting to rise.
Wow, from this point of view, the balloons look like sky lanterns.
You're right, and the people below us are getting smaller.
I wish that we could stay up here forever.
Me too, but the ride only lasts 5 minutes.
Oh, so we're so excited because we are going up and up the hot air balloon. Everything has gone perfectly, and we're going to be having a very good time. And Allison is really grateful to Brandon for being such a good planner.
That's right. He planned it all and he got their tickets, and now they're about to go off on their first balloon ride. So Brandon says, "You're welcome." Allison was just thanking him for organizing this and getting the tickets and all that stuff. So he says, "You're welcome." He was happy to do it. And then, suddenly the basket under their feet, the balloon basket they're in, starts to move and maybe even starts to lift off the ground. And Brandon notices this and says, "Hey, we're starting to rise." This is kind of like when you're in the airplane and suddenly you feel it moving backwards from the airport. You're like, "All right, here we go. We're going to take off in a few minutes." So the journey is beginning. And with a balloon, it's pretty easy. You just start to fly off the ground, right?
Yep.
pretty cool.
Wow, from this point of view, the balloons look like sky lanterns. They do look like huge sky lanterns.
That's true, kind of like in Pingxi, right?
Yeah.
We send off those lanterns at Lantern Festival. Well, the balloons are using flame to make warm air. So yeah, as they float up, they're still shooting that fire. It kind of glows like a big lantern. That is very cool. And of course, that will especially happen when they're rising because they're still warming the air to make the balloons fly.
So when you're rising, it means something or someone is going upward. So you're rising. So you can be rising when you're on a balloon. You can see the water level rising when you're at the ocean. Or you could yourself be rising if you're in an elevator, an escalator. You could be going up and up and up. So it's the action of slowly, or not very slowly, going upwards and upwards to the sky. And as you're rising, you can see the view is grander and grander. You can see more of these balloons. And from afar, they look like lanterns.
Absolutely, they do. Lanterns are something that makes light. If you guys know what a candle is, well, a candle would be what you would put inside a lantern. A lantern would probably be made of glass and metal or something like that. It's kind of like a little box or a little house for your candle or for some oil that you're also burning to make flame, to make light. The lantern's useful because even if the wind blows, which would normally blow out your candle, if it's inside that protective glass box, the lantern, that will allow you to have the light even on a windy day. Now, of course, we also use this to talk about those sorts of balloons that we have. They're not really lanterns, but they look like lanterns as they're flying through the sky, a kind of box or a shape with a light inside, and it makes it glow. It makes a very beautiful light.
So those are called sky lanterns. So inside there's a light and you can write something on it like a wish, and it's quite big. And then you send it out with some fire and it all floats in the sky and it makes a very beautiful image. And yes, there are many places you can do it. It could be in Pingxi, and there are some places in Japan as well. They're usually for holidays, for wishes, and they're made of paper and they float upwards. It's like sending your wish into the sky and into the clouds.
Yeah, so different from a balloon, but the way they work is basically the same.
Yeah.
So Brandon totally understands what Allison is talking about when she says sky lanterns. He's thinking like we are, like in Pingxi, yeah. He says, you're right, he agrees. They do look like giant sky lanterns. You're right, and the people below us are getting smaller. That's one of the fun things about flying. If it's a balloon or when your airplane takes off, suddenly the people, the cars, the buildings, everything gets down to tiny little toy size, and it is a very special way of seeing the world.
Yes, and Allison is so happy and she thinks it's so beautiful. She says, I wish that we could stay up here forever. It must be very romantic for her.
It must be lovely. I don't know if she'd want to stay up there all night, and what happens when you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and if it gets very dark, it's probably very scary.
And you'd want to go to the store and get some food. I don't think they have 7-Eleven balloons.
And you need blankets. It gets cold at night in the mountains.
But when people are doing something fun, this is, of course, something they say not in a serious way. Just
Not
like,
really
this is
forever.
the best. And they kind of want to remember it forever. Even if not actually be there forever. But it doesn't seem that that's a choice that they can make. Brandon says, me too, I'd love to stay here forever, me too. But the ride only lasts 5 minutes.
Oh, that's so short.
Oh no. So up and look around, take a few pictures, and back down. Of course, you would love to be up there a long time, but there are hundreds and thousands of other people who would also love to do it, so you gotta take your turn. Everyone only gets 5 minutes, but it would be one of 5 of the most memorable, special minutes of your life. And also your Instagram numbers would go way up once you put all those pictures on social media. So I'm sure they'll remember it forever, if it only lasted 5 minutes. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today, though. But tomorrow we'll be back with more about the International Balloon Festival. And there should be some good information in there in case any of you guys want to go. You want to go back. I might want to go for the first time. This sounds great, but I think I'd need more than 5 minutes in the balloon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to save my money. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Allison and Brandon are in a hot air balloon.
Aren't you clever? How did you get us tickets for a tethered balloon ride?
I booked them online. The fee was a little higher, but I didn't want to risk not getting any tickets.
That was very smart of you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we're starting to rise.
Wow, from this point of view, the balloons look like sky lanterns.
You're right, and the people below us are getting smaller.
I wish that we could stay up here forever.
Me too, but the ride only lasts 5 minutes.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 clever 形容词，聪颖的、聪明的。Emily has a very clever idea for organizing her closet. Emily 有一个整理衣橱的聪明点子。下一个单字 fee 名词，费用。They couldn't pay the lawyer's fee. 他们付不起律师费。下一个单字 rise 动词，升起。它的三态是 rise, rose, risen. The sun rose over the mountains. 太阳从山上升起。最后一个单字 lantern 名词，灯笼。那么 sky lantern 就是天灯。The old man carried a lantern through the forest. 一位老人提着灯笼穿过森林。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 I don't want to risk not 加 VING， 我不想冒着没有做某件事情的风险。Risk 是动词，表示冒什么的风险。我们来看看这个例句。I don't want to risk not studying for my exam and failing. 我不想冒着没有准备考试的风险而失败了。下一个文法 point of view 视角，它的复数是 points of view。Point 是位置、地点 ，view 指的是视野、景象。我们来看看这个例句。From my point of view, the sun is shining directly into my eyes. 从我的视角来看，太阳正直接照着我的眼睛。Directly 就是直接的。最后一个文法 I wish that we could stay up here forever. 我真希望我们能永远待在这里。Wish 表示希望，它的后面接着 that， 再接过去式的子句，表示现在很难实现的愿望。其中的 that 可以省略。Forever 则是一个副词，表示永远。我们来看看这个例句。
He rocks in the treetop all day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song.
Wow, he's a really good singer.
I wish I could sing like him.
It's okay, you did well too.
以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，回去记得复习哦。我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Today we are in Chiayi at an arboretum. So what is an arboretum? It's basically a place where you grow trees for education, science, or maybe just because trees are so beautiful. And it comes from the Latin word, which just means a place where there are trees. So let's take a look at the Chiayi Arboretum and learn more.
Chiayi Arboretum is right next to Chiayi Park. This arboretum is a place for doing research on economic tropical trees. It was built in 1908 during the Japanese-ruled period. It was originally the production and testing center for rubber seedlings. In 1921, the research on rubber seedlings was ceased. Afterwards, many economic tropical trees were introduced for planting. They were teak, rosewood, mahogany, and so on. Several years later, the center became an experimental place for planting economic tropical trees. Now, Chiayi Arboretum is full of tall trees. Everyone can go into the garden for free. There are many trails throughout the garden. There is also a stele with 4 Chinese words, Lin Chang Feng Qing, which means fresh breeze in the forestry station. It was hailed as one of the 8 wonders of Chiayi City in 1955. Chiayi Arboretum is now used in many ways: nature conservation, academic research, teaching tours, and recreation. Many of the trees in Chiayi Arboretum have grown here for at least 100 years. If you want to have a walk in a forest, you don't need to go any further. Chiayi Arboretum, located in downtown Chiayi, is your best choice.
Wow, a forest in the middle of downtown. Now that's definitely someplace that I want to visit. With all of the history there, you can find out as much as you want about trees, how they are used for economic purposes, scientific purposes, and of course, the best use, which is just to enjoy their beauty. So take a walk around the Arboretum, learn a little something, and enjoy yourself. See you next time.